Yes, good morning, everyone. So today we are going to discuss SAP ABAP session related to internal tables. So which is very important topic. So till now we have completed 142 completed, 43 also over. Yesterday 43 is a kind of revision that slide revision, PPT revision completed. So today's session number will be 44 and 45. So the topic name will be working with, okay, similarly working with internal tables. Internal tables, that is the topic. So quick recap, the revision is like we have done with introductory part, then after that the navigation. So in programming also, okay, with basics is one set of discussion is over. So second discussion is like complex data objects, working with complex data objects. Under that, first half is working with structure, second half is working with internal tables. So the name itself is a complex data types and data objects. So you have to be more keen while learning. So what is missing pending is structure related exercises. I have to revise it once. So if you look at the way I introduced the variables, same way I introduced structures also, internal tables also, right? That is first as a data keyword through how to declare a variable or structure, first step. Then on data, what are the various ways of assigning values, okay, in the program, like value keyword, move and equals to operate. Then how to content, display the content. Usage of clear statement is initial statement, etc. Coming back to this one, how to create another one, how to move the values from one structure to another structure. Second one is how to work with our own data and built-in systems data. That is SAP business data, live data. There are different tables like customer master, material master, vendor master, company code data, plant data, sales order, purchase order data, etc. Different types of tables we used it, different fields also. Now, so similarly, we'll go into this topic. So same sequence, I want to introduce the internal tables. So this internal table topic is a minimum. It will go for 10 days. That means 20 hours discussion. This topic will be a very important topic. It is it's a chapter about this data only. Table. So we have to go in depth and we have to. Yeah. So this is under the topic of processing large. Yes, this is your processing large volume of data. That is 250 is the page number. If in order to process large volume of data, internal tables and as well as the second one is extracts. These two are there, internal tables and extracts. But the extract have limitation. That's why SAP recommends to go for internal tables only. Yes. Okay. Yes. this is about your uh, basic topics. We will go in depth of this, right? Mm, So, because the similar internal table topic is to be introduced in several dimensions, just like the structures, local, global also. What is structure versus structure also? How to use, when to use, almost different. We have spent around 8 hours time on structures. So obviously it will go with 20 hours time for internal tables because if you look at in ABAP, dictionary is most important, data dictionary, ABAP dictionary. Similarly, internal tables, next function modules, next select statements, report. Like that, there are certain very important topics are there. Because today we are covering internal tables. Now onwards, I will work on internal tables on daily basis. That's the reason we have to be more clear, more keen on this particular topic. Yes, listen very much carefully and as well as practice it immediately. Do not postpone at all because not only practice, you have to reach out to me all of your questions, concerns also because here the technical stuff is it's we will get a feeling like when we learn subject when I explained at the time you will get so comfortable. When you start working, your mind goes blank and a little confusion starts. That's why you have to be more closely observe the stuff. Practicals important, theory important, everything, each line, each statement, everything important. You already uh, okay. So 20, that is 3 months over. Okay, in this 3 months, around 90 days, we have covered. The style is I'm introducing my own knowledge, typing into notepad, my own style or way of explaining the stuff and all. I'm introducing concepts to you with my examples, whatever I planned it. So finally, I'm going to SAP examples, SAP documentation, where you can search and find the original stuff also. So, result, you have to have the standards of SAP. Yes, we are giving simplified examples, medium level, complex level, very complex, high complex programs. Also, you should be able to handle it, debug it, fix it, all those stuff. Because most of the programs, I could say 90% in every program we use internal tables only. Okay. That's why this topic is most important. We will go in detail study of this topic. Okay, ready? Yes. Now, yes, I am coming to the SAP example only. Yes, right. In order to process large amount of data, what SAP uses word is processing large volume of data. Yes, large volume of data. So SAP introduced two concepts, that is extracts and internal tables. Okay, fine. Now extract. So extracts have some limitation. That is why internal tables as are recommended as alternative. Right. So first limitation of that is actually both are introduced, both were introduced. It's a past tense. Okay, introduced by SAP means always it is a already past, okay, happened scenario. So limitations of both are meant for to process large amount of data, but the limitation of extract is extract is yes, it consists of mm, different okay different columns in different rows, different, but whereas means as comparison, internal table holds equal, equal means same, okay, same rows, okay, for all columns. That means if I write one example picture for this, then you will come to know, then only you will understand it, because extract versus uh, our internal table concept. So this is, if you go to first extracts, see this is your extracts. We want to go to extract is also hold the record as a rows and line by line. Okay, yes. Okay. So now next. So this is the approach. What is the meaning of that is extract is having like one row, one, two, three, four, and five columns. One row we have only one, two, three columns. Okay, it's like that. We have to connect this. Mm. So one row we have three columns like that, and last we have one row we have only two columns. Okay, if that is the case, okay, yes, large amount of data support. Right. If you this is the case, reading and writing is so typical because rows are not uniform. This is the limitation of extracts. Okay. Yes. Extract data set we are calling it as. Yes. But whereas alternative for extract is internal table. So this internal table holds mm, internal table holds all rows, all columns as common. That means if I draw the picture, first row, second row, third row, and fourth row, and so on. Right. This is equal. Suppose one row have five columns, all rows have five columns. Okay. So this is the advantage of internal table. So all rows have common equanimity. That is your equal, right? So you can perform read and write operation easily. This is the difference limit. Now we will go to mm, extracts and I tab differences over. Then we'll move on to the next tab. Internal tables. Yes, because each topic, this is the way immediately you have to understand. So, what is the meaning of internal tables? Internal tables are data objects declared by data keyword. That is, what is the other way around statement? Data keyword is used to declare data objects. So in ABAP, we come across three types of data objects. It is variable, structure, and internal tables. All the three data objects you can declare by data keyword. With declaration always happens through syntax. So you have to aware of declarative variable syntax different, declarative structure syntax different. Other similarly, declaration of internal table syntax I'm going to introduce now. Clear? Next. So whenever you said declaration, then upon execution of the program, yes, upon execution of the program, yes, what happens? Data object. Data objects means all three data objects, variable structures and internal tables. Data objects gets created hmm, created in the memory, right? This next what? Like so similarly, internal table also created in the memory at runtime. At runtime. Runtime means execution time. There are two words, design time and runtime. Design time means coding time. When you type the code, that is called as design time. Runtime means when you press F8, that is called as execution time or so whenever syntax error comes, that is design time error. Sometimes runtime error comes, that is called as dump or shorted. Two types of errors. Already I gave this classification also, this explanation also. So internal table is a dynamically created data object. So it is, we can say that dynamic data object. Yes. Next, what is how long it holds? What happens? Like it is created at runtime, it holds the values, entries, or records at runtime. Yes. Next, what happens? How long it exists? So as long as program executing, it holds the value. It holds the entries. Yes. Next, once you come out of program, this is a common explanation. What happens? All created data objects, data objects gets cleared from memory, right? Cleared from memory. That is, once again you create it, again it is going to create. The, that is about your, because of the dynamic objects. Dynamically it will create, and once you come back, it gets closed. Yes, and it will be created at a different memory location, and it holds the value point, the value for the assign it at the its existence is as long as program, right? You understand this. Next, suppose yes, internal table is uh, internal table is a what is that is a table, okay, created at the application level or application layer. Yes, that's what you have to understand it. So when you said normally in South we use intermediate. Intermediate means neither base nor advanced level. That is intermediate is between middle concept is called as intermediate anything. Okay. So similarly, this is internal table. If you look at the architecture dimension, yes, this is your architecture through entire course you have to understand. If you look at architecture, presentation is this, application is this, database. So in this three areas, three levels, three tiers, where is our internal tables? So internal tables are program objects. That is, internal tables are not created by drag and drop. Internal table cannot be, internal tables must be typed within the program. Syntax through it is getting created. And moreover, internal tables uh, on when execution, upon execution of the program only, internal tables gets created in the memory. Clear? Yes. So that's why it is at application level because programming almost not only this three, your variables also, structures also, internal tables are all also created at application level, and moreover, all are temporary objects only. Right. Okay. Yes. Next statement is yes, internal tables are temporary. Temporary tables which holds the value, which hold the records, okay, at runtime of the program. Okay, because why I have to use this word called as on contrary, we have a database tables. Database tables versus internal tables, differences are there. Yes, lot of differences we have to know that. Yes. So database tables is this is in fact I'm going to write difference between because this is a question interview question database tables versus internal tables. You have to know the difference. Both are tables only. That's why this discussion. So database tables are created using navigation. The where a map dictionary, right? That is the first one. Internal tables. mm, Internal tables are declared while creating a map editor program. You see the tool, a map dictionary is a separate tool which is used to create database tables. A map editor is a separate tool, right? This is for a map editor programs. Clear? Right. Now, the difference is upon activation, the database tables gets created in the physical underlying database, physical layer, database. Yes, correct. But internal tables, yes, that's why, yes, that is why mm, database tables, database tables are permanent, which holds the value, which holds the records or data permanently. Yes. Whereas internal tables, yes, based on our requirement, internal tables, internal tables are declared with different different syntax. That is on different tables. Okay. Yes. What next? So this is so you have to understand database tables are created by navigation in SC11. Internal tables are created by syntax through coding through within the editor program. Database tables holds permanent data. Internal table holds temporary data. This is the difference. Okay. Table holds temporary data. There is no question of permanent here. Next, database tables stores data in the underlying database, whereas internal tables, hmm, internal tables created at the application layer is application layer only. So this is about close differences because both are tables. When we say table, table is a collection of rows and columns. Yes. So internal tables are used to hold and process large amount of data or use quantity of data. That is, yes. Next. Yes, each statement you have to understand closely. Right. Next. Internal tables. Uh, Internal tables. Okay. We don't use stores. Store is a word used when it comes to permanent. Okay. That's why tables a permanent, it stores the data permanently because stores the data permanent. Internal tables holds the data as line by line or row by row. Row by row. Yes. What is the meaning of that is without overlapping, without overlapping or without without when we write slash, technically you have to understand or, just like logical or, without overwriting. Okay, overwriting. Yes, this is your next topic. That is row by row, line by line. It maintains. Okay, clear identity. Next, internal tables are okay, extension to SON, extension to structures. Yes, because yes. Okay, now internal tables. Right. First, let me complete this statement later. So, extension structure means the limitation of because the limitation of structure is structures is or anything. So, what is the internal table limitation? It holds only one record at a time. One record at a time, which means okay, hmm, it cannot okay, accommodate multiple records. Because when other record comes, it overrides. You know, Ravi record, Kiran record, Reddy record. It holds only one at a time. Employee number 10 record or 20 record or 30 record. Only one at a time. You cannot, if you want to maintain Ravi record, Kiran, Reddy, all independent individual, then internal table through only it is possible. Structure through it is not possible. If you look at from the basic again, variables have limitation. What is the variable limitation? It hold one value at a time, and moreover, internal tables cannot be used for to what is the purpose? Variables cannot be used to specify the records. Correct. So records purpose structures are introduced, which is a collection of variables, but it holds only variable holds one value, structure holds one record, whereas internal table is final data object which holds all the. And next, this topic is a under complex data objects. Hmm. So internal table uh, topic. This topic tables are complex data objects. Complex data objects. Because simple data object is variable, complex data objects are structures and internal tables in. So in ABAP, these three only we are calling it as a data structures. Data structures are nothing but how you are going to handle the data. Yes. So okay, this is about your complex data objects which are used to hmm, which are used to process like complex data. Very simple. That is right. This is about your basic introduction of internal tables. So this is as a part only I have covered this topic. So here if you are confused, we can draw some straight line like this because these two are different points. Okay. Yes, because it is good to have these differences as well. Lot many things we have to. Yes. Uh, Coming to the next topic, like the way we worked with the structures and all, similarly you can work with internal tables also. Okay. Okay. First, we can work with like data, different data. Okay, while using internal tables. That is first step. Internal table can be declared with predefined data types which can hold our own data, our own data. That is Ravi record, Kiran record, etc. That is we this those type of data also we can other way around. Internal tables, internal tables mm, yes, can also be declared, can also be declared with with database tables data, database tables, table fields. So which can hold database tables data. That is, so you have to know two things. That is nothing but how to mm, go for both scenarios. We'll discuss how to create our own entries, how to work with our this also. You have to know that. Yes, both the cases. Right. Next. So we have to discuss this in a multiple dimensions. So see, level by level, I think so. If anything confused, mostly I guess you are clear with this because you will come to know everything in a programmatically. When I go to this topic in a picture through explanation or programmatically, then you will understand more. Right. Okay. So this is, if you look at here, yes, this is a kind of internal table topic. This the concept introduced from the day one when ABAP started. Yes, internal tables are introduced. You're right. So now we have to, yes, we have to know two things. The syntax, okay, syntax point of view, syntax point of view, okay, internal tables can be declared as two ways. That is, yeah. So internal tables with header line, with header line is uses with header line. So these are all with uses old syntax. Next, internal tables without header line, without header line. This is which uses hmm, new syntax, which uses new syntax. So you have to aware of both. Initially, SAP introduced old syntax internal tables, lacks and lacks of old programs still holding old syntaxes. But now we are going to cover the new syntax. Latest programs uses new syntax. So we will discuss the both differences. Some programs on this, some programs on this also. You should not get confused. Okay, because even though it is obsolete syntax, old syntax also, because there is a requirement, sometimes you have to evaluate or debug or explore some program, old program that is there in the old syntax only. That's why it is good to have even what's happening there and all. Okay, old syntax also I'll introduce slowly, not all activity. So ultimately, if you look at this message in ABAP, okay, generally we go for two types of data. That is nothing but one is general data, our own records, our own data. Second is tables data. Even though I use the flight examples are also, separate flight tables are there. Those flight data is stored in flight tables. That is why flight examples also we can use it, no problem. Right? Coming to uh, but majority, we go with sometimes SD. If you are working with SD, what happens? SD means sales and distribution. We go with customer master data and as well as a lot of sales order data, transaction delivery data, shipping data, transport data, and finally invoice related. That is total master data, or transaction data, or system data also. You can create similarly similarly FI, PP. So it depends because this is common topic. Okay. Next, internal table can also be called as item. Yes. So you should not get confused. Simply table can also be called as simply I tab. I for internal, tab means table. Right. Because see when you say table, what is that? Here somewhere I mentioned, right? Table is a collection of rows and columns. Correct? That's what the normal math mathematical definition, rows and columns. Rows records, columns as field name. That is your database table versus in with both uses table word. But in ABAP, when you are talking particularly when you're writing, documenting, or resume or any presentation, everywhere don't use working with tables. That is a more generic statement, more general statement. Working with internal tables gives different context, different meaning. Working with database table is different context, different meaning. That's why we have to use what you want to work. Either database table, CC11 already completed, we know in and out of transparent table, cluster, pool, everything. Now we are going to go with internal tables. Okay. Yes. Now, yes. Internal tables naming convention point of view, you can be also be called as entirely primary where somebody says, okay, somebody says key tab also or J tab also, anything, J tab, anything, okay, anything is okay. Sometimes standard naming convention is this, okay, can be declared as, can be called as is okay, actually can be declared as with the name I tab, K tab, J tab, or else we can go with IT underscore KNA1 or IT underscore mon or IT underscore VBAK or IT underscore BSEC this way. So I for internal, T for table. So when we use prefix IT, the original table is KNA1 because it is, see, I tab, K tab, J tab is more generic, no clarity. Okay, if you want to maintain our own data, you can go with this type of generic disclaimer. But this is mm, for generic data purpose. You can use that. But this is I one is yes specific to database table name purpose. Okay, tables. That means what is that? the internal table, the internal table, hmm, which is going to hold, hold means temporary. Okay, store means permanent. Yes, this is the word. Right. Gold K-Neven data is declared as IT underscore KN1. Yes, that is the difference. So the table in the same statement, the internal table, hmm, table which is going to hold what next? Mara data, then which is declared as IT underscore Mara and so on. So table name, just add a prefix as IT underscore or sometimes I underscore. Okay, sometimes we will write GT underscore, that is global table. Okay, difference. GT underscore means global table, LT means local table also. This nomenclature, naming conventions, you have to, yes, for our clarity. Same like you can write IT underscore SPFLI, IT underscore SCAR, these tables. Next. Actually, we have to look at a few other technical clarity of internal tables. That is nothing but this picture gives a uh, yes, yes, as internal tables holds uniform records, that is already explained at the extracts discussion. Right. Now, internal tables, okay, internal tables having a special feature as dynamic extension. Dynamic extension. That is, yes, once the internal table is filled, okay, filled means is completed, it extends, okay, its memory to to accommodate additional additional data, additional data, yes, additional rows. Yes, this is the main purpose of internal tables. That is, it is so. That is, it is not a fixed type. Example, if you look at this particular picture, you will understand. Suppose here it is. Internal table can hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 records it can accommodate as of. But if the 5 records are filled, what happens to the next? What happens to the next is it generates memory. When sixth record comes, it will generate memory to hold another 5 records. That is, now you can maintain 6 to 10 records. When 11th one comes, it will extend it to 11 to 15. That is another 5 records. If the data is comes, as long as data is coming into this internal table, if there is no space, no place to accommodate, automatically it will extend. Dynamic extension storage extension. Okay, so this will internal table can keep on extend its memory. Yes. Okay. Yes. Internal table. mm, Internal table can extend memory up to 2 GB, 2 gigabytes, GB, KB, MB, GB, memory representation. Yes. So 2 GB. That means each internal table, yes, this is most important. Each means every, yes, each internal table, because why each? In one program, we don't use only one internal table. In single program, you can declare as per our requirement many internal tables you can declare it. But you have to understand that each internal table can hold up to 2 GB only, not more than. Next, internal table maximum capacity. Capacity is up to 2 GB. After that, so that means that is called as technically bottleneck. That is full. It is completed. Each internal table 2 GB means MBs, KBs, and GBs. 2024, 48, because 2014 something like that, like a lot of GBs, like sorry, that is a TB, right? Okay, so 2 GB data also, it's not so simple. N number of records, N number of rows, N number of columns and rows data it can accommodate. Okay, there is we cannot in Google we have to check how many records maximum it can accommodate. So technically we say always up to 2 GB data. After 2 GB, it goes to runtime error. After that, it generates runtime error. Runtime error as memory overflow. Yes, that is memory overflow issue. This is not the, that is, it cannot accommodate after 2 GB. This most common dump. Runtime error means you have to understand that is a dump or shutdown. Clear? So this is what is the limitation of internal table. If anybody question you, is internal table can hold up to 2 GB data. It's after that error. Which error? It is not a syntax error. It directly goes to runtime error. Okay, that's it. Just I am giving, say for instance, 2 GB means 2 lakh entries it holds. Just for the sake of our discussion, after 2 lakhs, if still more record comes, even single record comes, it goes to dump. This is the way you have to catch the, because we will, I can show you dumps also. We will see this everything practically. Okay, so that is internal table memory point of view. This is the discussion, this is the limitation. Clear? Yes. How much memory currently it is holding, we can show, display it in the uh, debug mode. You can check it out. I can take you to that place and I'll show you. There is a separate tool called memory analysis, which is exclusively used to evaluate the memory things. Clear? Yes, this is another discussion. So you have to see that, yes, this is a internal table. If you look at first column in every row for yes, right. Every row, each row it is holding a kind of fixed. Okay. Here in this case, what happens, whereas that extract is different rows, different length. Yes, this is the limitation actually. See, first row 5, column, second row, 3 columns, third row, 2 columns. That too, this is, see the length of this is totally mismatched. But if you look at everything is perfect, uniformity is maintained here, rows and columns. Clear? All rows holds uniform data. That's the internal table concept. Right. So this is over. Now we will look at the other dimension. Most of the cases, internal tables are created on database tables. That is our common statement. Because why? Why we have to work with internal tables? Because why SAP introduced internal tables first of all? Because there is a reason. Hmm. So directly direct interaction and directly work directly switching and working database tables data is not recommended by SCP. Yes. Which means, okay, which means we cannot hit the database tables, hit the database tables for several times. Okay, we should not hit, which leads to which leads to performance issue. Performance issue. That is why SAP introduced hmm, SAP introduced internal table concept. Yes, right. So basically means primarily. Okay, internal tables are declared on database tables. Okay, on database table or database table required fields. Depends. If you want all the table data, one type of declaration. Or no, all I want only that table particular columns data, then go for two types of things. Right. What is this statement meaning? Yes, you have to understand it. There is a, because we know architecture point of view, hmm, data permanently stored in the, yes, underlying database. Already I keep on introducing that. If it is our own records, Ravi Kiran Reddy record, there is no database interaction. Declare internal table, move the values Ravi Kiran records, then you can print it or you can whatever the data you want to process it. You can go with our own data. That is very rarely we do that. But majority, mostly we work with built-in tables data. That is SDMM, PPQM or flight tables data. So the tables data originally stores in the database, underlying database. Yes, this table stores permanent data. This is also table. This is also table which is a rows and columns. That is inter database table holds data up to depends on the size category it holds. But iTab is up to 2 GB. This is the way. Right. Next, iTab can be declared based on LFA1. That is LFA1 have 230 fields suppose. Completely iTab also can be created with 230 columns. Otherwise, I don't want complete all columns data. We want only 4-5 columns. Then only we can declare internal table with LFA1 of 4-5 columns only. That depends what you want. Okay. So how the syntax differs, that we'll talk while introducing syntax. Okay. All right. Coming to the next level, if you go to, I told you it is table name is LFA1. This is IT underscore LFA. Table name is KN1. This is IT underscore KN1. So easily identified. Okay. Declaration also, it holds the respective data also. Right. Okay. So now at this point of time, I will write one statement. Yes. What that statement is, working with hmm, working with internal tables is a three-step procedure. Three-step. What is the meaning of the three-step procedure is? Okay. So